Perfect. Okay, so let's get started. Okay then, can you see me as well, or just my screen? Perfect, perfect. Okay. Okay, so first things first, I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Grace Yusuf, and My name is Grace Yusuf, and I'm a senior mobile developer or mobile tech lead at Qubit Limited. And what Qubit Limited is, we're like a mobile app consultancy. This is a consultancy I founded, which sort of makes apps for corporate clients, some of the bigger names, sort of household names. And we also sometimes work with startups as well to develop apps. So what I do there, I'm a developer, I create apps, and also as well, I might also help some clients if they have a mobile project to help them like organize their mobile project and get their apps delivered successfully and securely. Okay. And I think I was asked to give this presentation because I've had a number of years, over 10 years of developing software in sort of financial and consumer sector. Okay. Okay, so this is some of the work that I've done in the past. This first app is called Date One Direction. It's a mobile game, and that's had over 2 million downloads. This was actually the first app, mobile app that I ever created, so I was quite lucky that it did quite well. Another mobile game I did was the Discovery Kids mobile app. And this was a game and also TV as well. So the kids could, it was educational. The kids could sort of play educational games. You could also watch TV. You could also watch cartoons. That's had, I think, over 10 million downloads now on the App Store. The second app is from Barclays, and that's like a fintech app. And that's over 1 million downloads. But Barclays had them, I'm not sure, I think they have a branch in Nigeria as well, but they're quite like a well-known, they're one of the major banks here in the UK where I'm based. And then this other app was for Argos, which is another, it's one of the top retailers in the UK, and this was a mobile logistics app. I don't have download figures for this app because this was not an app that was on the App Store. This was an app that was purely used internally by the company, by the delivery drivers. So this is just a sample of some of the stuff I've done in the past. Okay, so first some housekeeping. I think the idea was we would sort of keep questions. There's going to be like a main panel section at the end where everyone will have a chance to sort of ask their questions. But since there are not that many of us in here, I think we don't have that many participants. I think we're quite like a small group, which is really good. So what I would sort of say is, like, if you do have questions, try and put it in the chat, and I will, have a look at them, and I'll try and get them at the end, just to sort of save you having to keep your questions to the end. And especially if you have a question that is going to like keep you from understanding the rest of the presentation, please just ask me and I will go over that. Okay, so the first thing was this figure here. I was looking, when I was preparing this presentation, I had a look to sort of see how many apps there were on the App Store, because I wanted to get a figure. I hadn't looked at this number in a while. And okay, perfect. I've seen your question, AD, and I'll get to that. And I just saw there are 1.85 million apps on the App Store and just 2.56 million apps available through Google Play. So I'm not sure about you, but I was actually surprised by that number, because, when you try and compare that to the amount of people we have in the world and the amount of people who own smartphones. So I think the estimates there are about between 6 and 8 billion people own smartphones. So there's between 6 and 8 billion people own smartphones, and they're just like 1.85 million apps on the App Store and 2.56 million apps through Google Play. So don't let anyone ever tell you that the industry is saturated. I think there's still a lot of room to play. I mean, if you think about it, like in Nigeria alone, we have a population of about 215 million. The US have a population of 329 million. So just for 2 countries, that's 554 million people, you know, so almost 500 million people. And even if we're trying to be conservative, how many people of that 500 million do we think own smartphones? And these are 2 English-speaking markets. So yes, definitely, there's still a lot of room for people to create apps and make it in the App Store. So there's still a lot of room for that. So I just wanted to encourage you with that figure. And there's some more key industry figures here. So for example, in 2021, there were 230 billion app downloads. And the average smartphone user has 40 installed apps on their phone. I'm not sure how many you have, but I think that's about right. I definitely think I have more than that. And 49% of people open a single app 11 plus times a day. I think that's definitely right for me because I think I'm always on Twitter. And this was one that surprised me actually. It says the time spent on mobile is now more than the time spent watching TV. Yeah, so I think mobile has really eaten the market, and I have a TV as well, and I can't remember the last time. I mean, sometimes I switch on my TV just to make sure it's still working because I don't know, I don't want it to like rust or something and stop working. But yes, I'm hardly ever on my TV. Most of the things I'm consuming is like YouTube or Netflix or Prime TV. So yeah, it's mobile now, definitely. I think everyone is saying true. That is so true. Okay, I wanted to encourage you ladies with this number. 85.1 billion US dollars, 85.1 billion US dollars, remember this figure, was spent on the App Store in 2021. Yeah, Kemi, so same here. Exactly, same here. When I'm on TV, I'm still on my phone, chatting about it, chatting away. You're exactly right. It's even hard to concentrate. So 85.1 billion USD was spent on the App Store alone in 2021. So ladies, the App Store alone, I'm not talking about Google Play, I'm talking about the App Store. This figure was what users, after downloading an app, took their wallet out and spent some more money. Yeah, so they spend this on app purchases, on subscriptions and premium apps. So this is extra money users pay once they downloaded the app. This 85.1 billion, ladies, was for the App Store alone, not including Google Play. So do you think some of us here who, you know, we want to get a fraction of this ending up in our pockets? Hopefully, I hope so. You know, some of that money can make its way to us, you know. 85.1 billion on just one app store. I think there's a lot to share and there's a lot to go around. Okay, now that you've seen that figure, I'm really for convincing you that this is a good industry to get into, and I've shown you that there's still room to play and there's a lot to play for. Okay, so the first thing you'll need to do is make a decision. Okay, so you want to decide what platform to sort of go for. And this is where a lot of people sort of get stuck, you know, they sort of say, okay, you know, should I develop for Android? Should I develop for iOS? And they keep on going back and forth and they can't decide. What I would sort of say to you is look at the phone in your hand. If you have an Android phone, become an Android developer. If you have an iOS phone, become an iPhone developer. Yeah, because what I've seen in my experience that it really depends on the industry. Yeah, so for example, there's some countries where nearly everyone is on an Android phone. Yeah, especially so for example, if you're doing maybe like a local pay banking app in Turks in an African country, you're probably going to be Android first because all those farmers in those little villages, they're all on Android phone. They probably want to go for Android. But let's say you're developing an app. So for example, one of the last things I worked on was for an app that was like with a members club, it was like high fashion industry. You'll find like most people like in creative industries, like designers, most of them are in iPhone. Yeah, so it really depends on the industry you're targeting, the country you're targeting, and everything. So, no ecosystem is better than the other. Okay, so being that then, for Android, just to give you some background about it, Android, the current programming language used to program Android apps is Kotlin. Before it used to be Java, now it's Kotlin, that's a new one. And obviously Android is based on the Google ecosystem, and it's dominated mainly by Samsung devices, yeah? So Samsung, S, all the numbers, Huawei is coming up second, but it's mainly Samsung devices, okay? On iOS side, the programming language for iOS is called Swift, yeah? And the language used to be Objective-C, but it's now Swift, and obviously iOS is just the Apple ecosystem, and obviously the main phone is just the iPhone, okay? But if you don't want to make a decision, you can use something called a cross-platform SDK, like Flutter, yeah? And what cross-platform does is, instead of saying, okay, fine, I want to become an Android developer, or I want to become an iOS developer, what you'll do, you specialize in a cross-platform language that lets you develop for both. So in the past where, if you're creating an app, you'd have to make your Android version, first, or your iOS version first, and then immediately you finish that, you have to then start writing your iOS version and try and get that to market. Now, using a cross-platform SDK, what you need to do, you just write your code once, and then it can run on both Android and iOS. And I have to admit to you, ladies, that this is what I use these days. I use Flutter for my development work, and most of the new apps, at least all the new apps that I'll be developing in future, I think I'll be using Flutter to develop them. Unless there's a really specific use case where I have to go native, then I'll make a native app. But I think for the foreseeable future, I think anything new that I develop now is going to be made with Flutter, because then that takes away this decision of having to, decide, what platform you want to target and everything, and you can just write code once and it goes everywhere, okay? So, I've given you a background now, I've shown you the details. Now let's get started. Grace, how do I become a mobile developer? What is it? You'll be pleased to know it's very, very simple. I've broken it down for you into three easy steps. Number one, number one, get an idea. Number two, get a course. And number three, get hired. And I'm going to break down each of these steps for you. But before I do that, let me just answer some of these questions. Okay, I think Kemi asked me, must you be limited to one? No, Kemi, I think, like I said, you can use Flutter. You can use something like Flutter to write for both. Yeah. So what Flutter lets you do is you write your code once, and that code you write, it's going to run on an Android phone, and it will also run an iOS phone. Yeah. And the language but you use a different programming language. The language for Flutter is called Dart. Yeah, but it's a really good platform, and believe me, you won't be able to tell the difference between a Flutter app and a native app. It's really good and it's really robust. But I should also tell you as well that if you don't want to use Flutter, there's also other cross-platform software you can use. There's something called React Native as well, which will do the same thing. But I personally use Flutter, and that's why I recommend to people as well. Let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, I think I saw one. What are the challenges faced as a mobile developer? I will get to that in the end. But if I don't, please just remind me, but I will get that to the end. I will answer that at the end when we get to the end of the presentation. Okay, so 3 easy steps: get an idea, get a course, get hired. First thing, your app idea. What you need to do, I think I go about it this way, and it might be a strange way to you, because I don't believe people should just go and start, jump into a course. No, I always recommend people that are mentoring or in students to, first of all, think of an app idea. Okay, and the reason why I do that is because when you have an app idea and you're creating an app while you're studying, you're going to be very motivated to finish your studies. And by the end of your studies, if you follow it, you're going to have a working app, which is going to help in your portfolio. So first of all, first things first to do, think of an app you'd like to create. And so is there an app that you wish existed? Like, so example, is there something that you've always thought, oh, I wish there was something like this in the App Store, you know, even if it's just like, okay, so for example, there was, I was trying to lose weight a few years ago, and I had to do like a calorie count, not a calorie counter, like a calorie recorder. And the one I finally got, I mean, I was using it, but for me, I felt it was too complicated. Like there were too many screens. I wish I had something that was very, very simple. Okay, so, you know, so maybe think of an app that you want to create, maybe an idea I've always had, maybe you'd like a private chatting app for just you and your boo, like literally the app is just for two of you. No one else can chat, it's just like a two-way chatting app and then that's it. You know, you can think of something like that, or maybe you want to create a simpler version of an existing app, you know, and you just think of anything that, you know, you want to create. But if you don't have any idea of an app you'd like to create, don't worry, I got you as well. What you can do is go to a site like, it's called Sensor Tower or App Annie. And what these sites do, they give you a ranking of all the top apps based on country. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the data from Sensor Tower. The other one is called App Annie, but I think they've renamed to Data AI. But if you Google App Annie, I'm sure you'll still be taken to the website. So this is Sensor Tower as of yesterday, March 12th, 2022, in Nigeria. So these are the top apps in Nigeria. You see, number one is TikTok. Sorry for trailer. Number three is, hi Gigi. Number three is Easy Money, yeah. And then there's Facebook Lite. I assume Facebook Lite is because obviously data issues as well. Because you also see Instagram Lite here. There's Okash as well, is number 7. Fair Money as well as up there. OPay, number 10. L Credit, Kuda. So this is targeted at Nigeria. So what you can do, and I'm giving you a cheat code here. So what mobile developers do, what mobile developers do is, if we're looking for apps to develop, you would go on to look at this chart. I would normally look at the first 100 or first 200. And what you're looking at is, okay, fine, which of these apps do I think I can create? You know, so as you go down this list, yeah, there might be an app you see and say, oh, you know what, this app is simple enough, you know, I can create a copy of this app, you know. It might be like a notepad app or a meditation app or even a payment app. But if you look at this top chart and you say, okay, fine, which of these apps do I think I can make a copy of, you know? And then that's how you get an app idea. You can look at maybe top 3 apps. You can, if you were thinking more something I want to earn money on, you can look at the top grossing apps. But these charts, they give you an idea of what's actually popular and what people are actually searching for at the moment. So you can now get one and then copy it for yourself. Okay, so now, by now, hopefully I've shown you how to get an app idea. So now you have an idea in your mind, okay, fine, this is the app I want to create. What you're then going to do, you're going to create a mock-up of the screens in your app. And by mock-up, I don't mean anything sophisticated. You're just going to take pencil and paper and just draw up the screens. You can write it in a notebook. Some people can use software for this, but I wouldn't actually recommend it. I always say just keep it simple, keep it very simple. Just put in a notebook. And the good thing about a notebook is you can then carry it along with you and refine it as you go. And I'll also keep it, you know, for your first app, try and keep it simple. I'd say maybe no more than 10 screens, you know, but just create a mock-up like this and just basically draw and write what you'd like your screens to look at. Okay, so you have your app idea, you have your mock-up, then you're going to start learning. Okay, so I was trying to do this in a way, obviously, to make the slides look pretty and less dense, but there was really no way I could sort of go about it. So I've just put the links on here, and I think I would suggest you make screenshots of this. So what I would sort of say is, like, if you're a complete beginner to programming These are some links I found just to give you an intro of just what programming is and how it works, so you can get your mind sort of thinking about the logic of programming. So take a screenshot of this, and all the courses I've listed here are all free. Okay, so this introduction to programming, if you're a complete beginner, you've never programmed before, just to help you understand what programming is and what it does. If you've decided you want to become an Android developer solely, these are some courses for you. As I said, they're free courses where you can learn. This is for Android. I think somebody asked me, I'm a complete beginner, so these are the resources for you, okay? And if you decide you want to go for iOS, another course for you, as I said, all free, and you can start immediately. And then finally, if you decide you want to go cross-platform, so you can develop for both Flutter, for both iOS and Android, this is Flutter, a Flutter course for you, all free resources. Okay, so once you've decided on your course, what you're going to do is, when you start your course, please promise me, once you get to 30% of the course, I'd like you to stop there. Like I said, start the course, do the first few courses, but once you get a third of the way through, I want you to stop, and then you're going to start building your app. Yeah, because by the time you get to 1/3 of the way through, you've understood the basic of how it works. You've understood how to start creating screens. So by the time you get to 30% through that course, I want you to stop and start creating your app. So for example, if in the course they teach you how to do a sign-in, then you look at your app. Do I have a sign-in? You do the sign-in. If the course teaches you how to press a button, you go to your app. Oh, where are my buttons? Okay, I'm going to code all the buttons. And the reason why you're going to do this is so that as you're going through your course, you're working on your app. And the idea is by the time you finish your course, you have a working app. Okay, I'm going to try and breeze through the rest of my slides now because I think the time is nearly over. Okay, and then finally, I said, by the time you finish, if you follow this process, you've done your course, you now have an app, and I think you'll be in a position to get hired, you know, because they actually have something to show for you, because who knows, by then, maybe you'd have actually even launched your app on the App Store, you know, so you'll be able to get someone to hire you and say, look, I've done this course, and look at something I've created. Even if you have not yet finished your app, and you've not yet put it on the app, so at least you'll be able to show the person in an interview, look at the app I've been creating on my phone, look at what it can do. Because people just want to sort of say, see what it can do. I'm going to keep going until maybe they stop us, but I just want to quickly share my story. So it was really surprising because like the keynote speaker that spoke at the beginning, yes, that's what it's about. $85.1 billion. Even when I started figuring myself, I was like, wow, I need to step up my game. The thing is, like, my background quickly, I actually started in banking as well. So similar to the keynote speaker that started, I was actually in banking. So I haven't always been in tech. And I left banking, luckily for me, just before there was a big crash actually. And because I had an idea for a company that I wanted to start. Okay, so I started my company. It was a startup actually. So I did my startup. It did quite well for a while, and after a while, it wasn't doing quite well. And then I had to shut down my startup. So I was at loose ends. What do I do? You know. So lucky. At that point in time, luckily for me, I would say I did computer science at university. You know, so I knew how to program in Java. Yeah. So next thing you know, I was talking to this someone I'd met through like a social contact, and he was saying he needed someone to make a mobile app for him, you know, and I knew that Android apps were written in Java, so I knew how to write Java. Had I ever written a mobile app before? No, but I knew Java. Of course, I told him I'll create that app for you, you know. And what I did there was like, it was a leap of faith. Yeah, I knew Java, and I thought, okay, fine. The only thing I need to do now is to learn the Android ecosystem. Yeah, so I took that job, and that app that I created was that first app that I showed you, that mobile game that had over, I think it's even like close to, I'm being conservative, I think it's over 2 million downloads now across the App Store and Android. That app has done very, very well. That was the first app I ever created. You know, And would you know, because of the success of that app, I was now hired with Discovery Channel to do the Deep Play Kids app, which now had 10 million downloads. Why? Because they saw I'd worked on something before, I'd worked on something before, and then I now got that Discovery app. And for Discovery, as well as working on Deep Play Kids, I also work on their Deep Play app, which is their sort of version of Netflix, So can you see how you do one thing, it leads to another thing, and then it leads to another thing, which is why I'm saying you're going to have to take the leap of faith, because you're going to have, you can spend all your time studying and not actually take a step. So that's why I'm telling you guys, once you start your course, 30% through, start working on your mobile app. Use that mobile app you've created as your calling card. Say, look, guys, look what I've done for myself. Imagine what I can do for you. Hire me. Any app they say they want, just say, yes, I can do it. And, and just say, yes, I can do it. If you run into any problems, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. I'm really happy. I would be really happy to help you. But please, ladies, do take that leap of faith, because there will come a point of time when you've done the studying, you've done the work, and you'll still start feeling like, I'm not sure what they call it, imposter syndrome or whatever, but no, reach out, go out there, market yourself, let people know I'm a mobile app developer, I can develop app for you, and and just grab it with both hands and just get going, and then you'll be a mobile developer. And like I said, you can always find me on Twitter at SGY. You can find me on Instagram on It's Grace Y, or you can follow my company, Qubit, because I tweet a lot of, because, okay, one side of it is developing mobile apps. We can't cover it in this talk, but there's another talk, which is actually marketing your mobile app, because these days it's your marketing that's going to make or break your app. And I do share a lot of resources about marketing and growth hacking at my Qubit account. So please feel free to follow me. And like I said, give me a shout on Instagram. Like, I've just started having time this year to start doing more educational stuff and mentoring. So I'm just getting my social media started, but I'm going to start posting resources on my Instagram, my Twitter, but reach out to me anytime with any questions you have. I'm always happy to help you, ladies. And okay, I'm going to go into, oh yes, I've just answered that question, social media links, I've just answered that. So I think, someone asked me about challenges of a mobile developer. Challenges of a mobile developer, I'll sort of say, is maybe people thinking they know it all and not respecting your knowledge. Okay, let me just be honest with you guys. Okay, this industry is very male dominated. Okay, and then sometimes, sorry, was somebody going to say something? Hello? Okay, this industry is very male dominated, and that can be challenging sometimes, but I think being from, and that's the funny thing, but I think like being from Nigeria, there's a lot of women that are in high profile jobs. So for me, I don't think it's anything weird to be a female engineer. So I think that gives us, for me, I think I always try and navigate that well, because like I said, I'm Nigerian. I may live in UK, but I'm Nigerian. I know in Nigeria, we have women engineers, women lawyers, women doctors, so it's not a big deal. So any room I'm in, I know I deserve to be there, and I do put my points across. And that's it. I'm Kemi. Yeah, definitely. Nice to meet you all. So guys, I think the rest of the questions we'll have to handle it in the main panel. So I suppose we need to end the session now and join the main panel back. Okay. And I think we need to go back to the main screen now. So like I said, any more questions, I think we'll be able to answer them in the overall panel question that we're doing. So bye ladies, and it was really nice to meet all of you.